What is it like when you're a rookie in the NFL and you meet your hero in pregame warmups? How are you supposed to act? I'll tell you how I acted in just a second, coming up in the quarterback film room. Hey everybody, welcome to Elite Athletes TV. I'm Mike Pawlawski, 11-year pro quarterback and world champion. Today, I want to talk about what it's like to meet your hero as an NFL rookie. So I'm an NFL player, NFL quarterback, and I meet my hero in pregame warmups. How do you act? Well, if this is your first time on the channel, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell. That way you get notifications every time we have new content coming out. Give me a thumbs up if you love hearing football stories, and please leave me a comment down below. I'd love to respond to your comments, answer any questions that you have about the game. Today, it's story time, and I'm a rookie in the NFL. Coming out of college at Cal, we were 10-2, number 7 in the country. We beat Clemson in the Citrus Bowl 37-13. We had a really good football team, a couple All-Americans, a couple early round draft picks. Mel Kiper had projected me as the second overall quarterback to go in the draft, but I slid down to the 8th round because of a mistake, a flaw in my mechanics that nobody ever coached me on. And so I was a rookie down there. They had drafted Craig Erickson and myself in the same year. And we were essentially the same guy, 6'2", 205, kind of really similar arm strength, really similar foot speed. But Craig was a 3rd-round pick. I was an 8th-round pick. And so we had gone through the initial stages in camp, and our first preseason game of the year was against the Denver Broncos. Now, I grew up as a West Coast guy. I grew up as a Pac-10 guy. I played in the Pac-10, and I played at Cal. And so I was very familiar with John Elway. And not only was I familiar with him as a quarterback, I'd seen his college work at Stanford. I'd seen his NFL work as a Bronco, and I was a huge fan. Now, that said, I've never been one who's starstruck. I've never been one who is fascinated by celebrities or athletes or anybody else. Not my gig. It's all cool, but I understand that athletes are just people with a gift to play the game. And so I was never one of these people that was starstruck, but John Elway was an absolute stud. I played in Tampa, and down in Tampa, we had Vinny Testaverde, who physically was as good as they've ever gotten at the position. I mean, Vinny was a physical specimen, really good. Hard time for him was that, like, his first 5 years in the league, he had 5 different offensive coordinators, 5 different offensive systems. Tough to be really good when they keep changing the offense on you. And then we also had our veteran quarterback, Steve DeBerg. And Steve had been in the game for, I think, 18 years at that point, 17 years. And so he knew the game, inside, outside, backward, forward, a guy who would literally break down his own film pre-game rather than relying on the team stats to break it down. And we'll talk more about that in a later video. But he was a guy that just knew so much about the game. And so as a young quarterback, I was trying to kind of soak up what these guys had. Turk Schonert was my quarterback's coach. Turk had just gotten done playing, so he still had some of that, I've still got it in him as a player. And he was a really good player, another Stanford guy. So, around a lot of good quarterbacks, no hero worship going on, no fanboy stuff. But we go to play Denver, and John Elway is the man. And this is my very first NFL game, and maybe that's what was part of it. We're going there to set the scene. We fly from Tampa to Denver on the team plane. We get there, and we're driving into Mile High Stadium, legendary Mile High Stadium. It's high altitude. You're a little hypoxic anyway, and I'm getting ready to warm up for my first NFL game. The dream is realized. I'm out there on the field in an NFL uniform, playing for an NFL team, getting ready to play, and we're going through pregame warmups, and all of a sudden, there's John Elway. Holy crap. And I've never been struck like that by another athlete, not by another person. I've met Muhammad Ali. I've met, a bunch of huge, huge names in sports, Ronnie Lott. And for some reason, John Elway, I was just like, ugh. And to me, as a rookie quarterback, he looked like he was 7 feet tall. I mean, just looked big and massive and like powerful and all those things. And Steve had obviously played with him. He was his mentor with Denver early on. And so Steve DeBerg knew him really well. He was over there talking to him. And I went over and introduced myself to him. Don't even remember what we said. I'm sure he was really cordial. But I'm standing there as a rookie, kind of awestruck by John Elway in the presence of greatness. And I remember that to that moment. Luckily, I didn't play till the fourth quarter of that game. Matter of fact, they never gave me anything but fourth quarters as a rookie. But I remember that, and it's just indelible in my mind. So let's fast forward now. I'm doing the Cal Stanford, the big game is what it's called. If you ever get that in Trivial Pursuit, by the way, and they ask you, what is the big game of college football? It's Cal Stanford. No matter where you went, that's the nickname of the game. So now you have it. But I'm doing the game. John is done playing, and he shows up down the field. And so as a sideline analyst, I'm supposed to go over and interview him. And I'm playing in the Arena League at the time because I was broadcasting college football and I was still playing. So I was working both jobs at the same time because the seasons didn't coincide. So I go over and I see John. I say, hey, can I get an interview? And he goes, oh, yeah. Hey, Mike, how you doing? And I'm thinking, wow, that's kind of cool. John Elway remembers me. And he goes, man, I watch you every single game in the Arena Football League. You're awesome. And I'm thinking, here's John Elway, again, still one of my heroes. And he's telling me how great it is because he watches me. Eventually, John bought an arena team, so I'm sure he was watching the league for research. But he's like, yeah, man, keep balling, all those good things with the quarterback. And I realized right then, I reflected back on that rookie run-in that I had with him when I was with Tampa. And I realized John's about my height. And he's about the same build as I was at that point. I was a lot smaller. I was probably 30 pounds heavy or lighter when I was a rookie. But he was about the same build as me at the same time. And I remember kind of chuckling to myself, I thought he was a giant. I thought he was 7 feet tall when I was a rookie. And here he is, John Elway in the flesh, still a legend, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. But it was just kind of funny in retrospect, looking at it from when I was a rookie and how I thought of John Elway and seeing him now as a person. And so kind of the moral of this story for all of you football players at home is all of those athletes that we run into, they're just dudes, just like you. Some of them have great physical gifts. John Elway, without a doubt, had one of the greatest arms of all time. But they're just dudes. They have a special gift. They can play the game. You have your own gifts too. And so I still haven't been awestruck by another athlete to this day. But that one, for me, was pretty funny. And so I wanted to share that story with you. Just remember, they're just dudes, just like you. Treat them like you. Be respectful, be kind, and they'll be kind back for the most part. If you like what we're doing here, please subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. That way you'll get notified every time we have new content coming out. Also, leave me a comment down below. I know we had fun today with my story of my rookie year, but if you need to learn about the game, if you want to learn about the game, if you have any questions, please leave me a comment down below and give me a thumbs up if you have a hero story just like I had. I appreciate you watching today. This is the Quarterback Film Room. I love teaching you football skills, telling football stories, and just generally talking about the game.